You guys joined Life Event Alerts. Life moves fast, don't miss it, right? So you are in the right place. Again, if you're just joining, remember, if you're hearing some things and you wish somebody else on your team should hear it, make sure you send them a link, let them join, let them hear it live. This is very important. As you're joining this, you guys will notice that every time we do a presentation like this and we talk, we're always pointing out the key takeaways. So pay attention to these key takeaways. You're here because of these key takeaways, right? So watch out for them, look out for them, take notes, and ask questions in regards to them if you feel like we need to really unpack something a little further, all right? But let's kick it off. Let me introduce you all to who is on the call today and what we will be covering. So let's move to the introduction slide, and I will make all the introductions. I am Alex Kutishyn. I'm the co-founder here at Sales Boomerang and Mortgage Coach, and I have the pleasure of sharing the stage today with Dave Savage, another co-founder of Mortgage Coach and now Sales Boomerang. And joining us is Mike Spotton, who is our VP of Product, and Michael DiClemente, President and COO at Watson Mortgage. Thank you all for making the time to be here. Really appreciate it, guys.
Hey, Alex, before we get to the next slide, I do want to say something just
Sure.
to frame the entire call for everyone. I think, what we're going to go through next is a whole new superpower for mortgage professionals. And, while, we call these life event alerts, I want you to think of them as their financial friend insights. So a lot of the things that we do here at Sales Boomerang and the alerts we give, they're like, hey, when someone's ready for a loan. But the goal we have is to turn you into the lender forever, the loan officer forever. And so it's super important that, you need to have the knowledge that a friend has, and you want to have the kind of relationship that a friend has with someone. So I just want to, they're called alerts, but guys, these are financial friend insights so that you can become someone's financial friend for life. So keep it rocking, brother. I just wanted to frame that.
No, I love that. Love that you had that. And always, everyone on the panel here, please just add as you see fit. Jump in there, make this fun. Let's not make this too scripted. Let's really talk about things that mean the most to us. So, why you need life event alerts? I'm going to pass this on to Mike Spotton, our VP of Product. Please take it away.
Yeah, thanks, Alex. And Dave, I love the fact that you layered on to that for life events. And I think it's really important to talk about Sales Boomerang and Mortgage Coach and what we're driving towards, which is that being a lender for life. And so, those of you that have experience with Sales Boomerang previously know about our, mortgage inquiry alerts, letting you know when somebody has applied for a mortgage, our listing alert, letting you know when somebody has listed their home, our prescriptive scenarios to let you know when your borrower has the opportunity to take cash out of their home or refinance at a better rate or remove mortgage insurance. And so life events really is taking us to the next level, what Dave was talking about, being a financial friend, understanding your borrowers at a visceral level so that you can help them as these life events are occurring. So making sure that as they have another baby, or as they have a death in the family, or their kids are moving off to college, or just moving out of the house in general, that you can reach out and be there for them during those times to give them advice on that next step. So we have been running life events through a report type system, and now we're actually delivering them into your Sales Boomerang account. So we'll go into that a little bit when we talk about how it works, but they're really broken down into newly married, newly single, birth of a child, death in the household, emerging professional, which is basically somebody graduating from a trade school or a college, graduating from high school, and then also empty nester. These are the events that we know trigger that next either refinance for investing in those events, or move up or move down type of situation. So really allows you to reach out and be that financial friend that Dave was talking about, to your borrower. And so next we're going to go to a poll. So breaking this down, Nicole's going to put the poll in the chat. It just popped up. I saw it on my screen here. Which benefits would result from understanding when life events like marriage, a new baby, or graduation can happen? So just answer in the poll there, and then we'll share the results in just a minute.
And guys, it's important to participate, because part of the value of us at Sales Boomerang and the mortgage coach community, it's not just the technology, it is the community. So when you participate and you let us know what you're thinking, we aggregate all of that, and we're creating content constantly in our YouTube channel, so that you're part of a family, you're part of a team of mortgage leaders who want to be the lender for life. But it's important to participate, so please vote here.
Yeah, and I'll highlight again what Dave just said. So, Sales Boomerang and Mortgage Coach did just come together. If you haven't visited the YouTube page that Mortgage Coach has been building for 10 years now, definitely take some time and check out that content. It's really valuable content. Sales Boomerang also has awesome content that we've been putting out there, but really the Mortgage Coach YouTube, a ton of really great information that you could benefit from. All right, so we have the results of the poll. 16 out of 18, 89% said all of the above. It's the basis for a consultative conversation that positions you as a trusted advisor. You may be able to provide a referral to your favorite realtor. You are first in line for a financial transaction down the road. I think all of these are really important to hit on. Really, becoming that financial friend that Dave mentions is driving towards that conversation that you can have with your borrower, even when they may not yet be ready for that loan, which then puts you first in line for the financial transaction down the road, because you are putting their needs first. It really becomes about understanding the goals of your borrowers and being a consultative partner to them, a trusted advisor, so that you can when rates drop, or when that they have somebody going off to college, that they may need money and they can pull equity out of their home. So many borrowers don't understand the power of the equity in their home. That is something that Sales Boomerang and Mortgage Coach are driving forward, and these life events are a key to that. They help you understand when that next refi or purchase could be happening.
Yeah, and as we go to the next slide here, I think, and I know, Mike, you're going to cover this in more detail. I think it's so important for everyone to understand that this is happening in so many industries. Think about all the different places you are now getting insights into the things that are important to you or could add value to your life. This isn't unusual. This is evolution. This is where your customers want you to be. Your customers want you to know how you can help them before they actually need you. Right? We're getting to a place where we're expecting our providers to be reaching out to us with suggestions, solutions, or ideas before we reach out to them. Because if we have to reach out to them, guess where we're starting? Online. We have to find out information. We are literally letting the world know we have a question and we want anyone to answer it. And you want to get ahead of that. You always want to have the answer for your customer. And if you can't, you should always be able to provide someone that can have the answers. But in this case, you should always have this answer, right? And this is just another one of those resources, and it's expected. It's literally expected. Other industries have been rolling out insights and solutions and getting ahead of their customers' questions for years now. We're finally getting there, right? We're finally able to get to a place where we can offer more of ourselves and not just react to an event. So go ahead, Mike. Sorry, just wanted to add that.
No, it's a perfect segue to what I was going to talk about on this slide, which is the fact that right now, when we call them life event alerts, really the direction we're going, and I'm pulling back the veil here for where Sales Boomerang Mortgage Coach is going, which is to provide insights on events to your borrower. It is not about triggering this life event alert. It's not about triggering the mortgage inquiry alert. It's about understanding your borrower. And so the information that we're delivering to you through these life events takes you in that direction. One of the really powerful things about these life event alerts is the combination with the sales boomerang history that already exists. So triggering one of these life events, let's say for marriage, which is shown here in the top left, you know, your borrower got married, but then you see that borrower has also just listed their home, and you can see that in combination. It gives you that talking point to say, hey, I saw that you just got married and that you listed your home. Let's talk about it. Are you thinking about moving into a bigger place? What is your goal next? And it does become about understanding what their goals are. And so really key point on this slide as well, layering into that, is that the life events are about what happened for the individual, but also what happened for the household. And so understanding that a death in the household is going to be a big deal. It is going to be something that oftentimes triggers that next event, but it is about being there for the borrower during that time. When they have an empty nest, what are their plans next? Their plans might not be to buy a house right away. It might be to travel the world. Well, great. Make sure that you're a part of that with them, and that when they come back, you can be that advisor for them as well. So just going over the life events one more time. I know I covered it before, but newly married. So being able to reach out, congratulate on that marriage, but also being able to understand what that means for them. What are their goals next? Newly single, divorce is an awful thing, but what does that mean for them? Are they staying in the house? Do they need a second home? Those types of conversations are ones that a borrower may not even be thinking about during that time, but you can be that trusted advisor. The birth of a child, making sure that you understand that they have enough home right now, or they might need more. And emerging professional. So as their children are leaving the house, that also creates an opportunity for you to be an advisor for generations. So it really takes you to the next level where you can be the advisor for everybody in that household, which is a really exciting thing.
I just think it's so powerful what you just said, Mike, and I know we're about to move to the next slide here. Be an advisor for generations. Like think about how that sounds. I'm hoping that everyone on this call that just heard that felt like really warm and fuzzy feelings for a minute. Like, oh my goodness, I could be an advisor for generations of my clients. Wow, that's a good feeling, right? Like they trust me enough for their kids to also use me, and they're so. I just thought it was really well said. I love that. Be an advisor for generations. I've never heard it said that way.
And I want you guys to all think of this truth. Anyone in sales knows what I'm going to say next is a truth. We all know that the loan officer with the most friends wins. That's like one of those common sense, concepts.
I see Michael nodding.
Yeah.
What's that? But how does that happen, guys? You know how that happens? The loan officer with the most valuable and emotionally connecting conversations has the most friends. So think about that. Now there is a superpower that allows you to know when people have these life events that friends call up about. Like loan officers don't call, say, hey, congratulations on getting married. Congratulations on one of your kids graduating. Congratulations on having a baby. Like loan officers don't do that. Financial friends do that. Clients for life do that. So if you want to be, have at an institutional level, if you're on this call, you're a leader. If you want to, as an institution, institutionalize financial friendship, you got to have life alerts, and then you got to call, and you got to train. And we're going to talk about that later on, scripting, so that your loan officers are making the calls, they're emotionally connecting, and they're the loan officer with the most friends.
I'll add onto that. We call that the sphere of influence in particular. That's exactly how we refer to that. So I'm in a real estate affiliate mortgage company, and that's, at the end of the day, most of those sales happen within that sphere of influence. People that friends of friends, and if you've worked in the past, that's who you influence, and that's where they get the business. So that's something really big for us. And I'll talk about that a little bit later. Is we're seeing some of the conversions on the life alerts specifically in that sphere of influence. So
I love that. I love sphere of influence, and I love what you said as well,
Yeah.
Dave. The
Yeah,
one,
wait to
the Ella
hear
with the most
more.
friends wins.
mhm.
All right, I'm going to hand it off to Dave. Dave, you can take it away with this slide.
Yeah, so building pipeline, like this is it's a tough market. I mean, we don't have enough leads. People are shopping more than ever. So you need to build pipe. You need loan apps. Everyone watching this, you're like, hey, how are loan apps last week? Past 2 years, we weren't even checking on loan apps because they were just coming in. So it's just never more important that you're getting more conversations, more up to bats, more reason for your clients to do it, so you can build pipeline. So that metric that you're looking at right now in your business intelligence loan apps, they're going up. So if you're doing this right, you've got all the right alerts turned on with Sales Boomerang. Anyone listening to this that you're already a customer of ours, audit, have a meeting with your success manager and make sure you're getting all the leads you can out of your database. Make sure that you have these alerts turned on. Make sure you're doing that so you can support your referral network. This is a huge value prop. Just the concept that you have life alerts, that's something that you should be talking to with all your realtor partners, all of your CPA financial planners, so that you can make this promise that you refer people to me. I'm going to, make sure they get great advice. I'm going to make sure they get a great mortgage transaction. And then I have this business intelligence platform so that whenever they have life events, whenever that things happen where they're obviously in need of financial help, I'm going to proactively know about it. Like, I'm not going to wait until they had to figure it out themselves. I'm going to be able to proactively do that. So I just want you all to think of all the different dynamics, as a leader, whether you're a marketing leader, whether you're a head of production, whether you're a CEO, whether you're a regional leader. This is important, and I just want to make sure you delineate loan apps, pipe, and value to your referral networks. We want to get to the point, we are at the point where if your loan officers have this business intelligence platform, they can make a great case so that CPAs and financial planners are like, I want to put my database in your database. Realtors are saying, I want to put my database in your database. So super important to get.
Let me share the story, Dave. So I was last week. I was hanging out with a lady named Amy. We were all out together in Colorado. She's actually from the Maryland or East Coast area, and she's a realtor. She's an agent. She's got like 7 or 8 people on her team, and we got to talking about what I do for a living and all this good stuff. And I started to mention that we're doing this event and we're talking about life events, and her eyes just. She's like, "What? Hold on a minute. You guys have access to this?" This is the first. As soon as she heard that, she said, "Please introduce me to someone using your system near me, because I need this. I need to be able to get insights and access to this." And she's like, "My biggest network," she said this, like, "my biggest network of people are attorneys and accountants. That's how she gets most of her business and where she is." She's like, "They would eat this up too." And so the minute I mentioned this, she was just blown away that this is something that's even available. So what Dave is mentioning, it's just fact. Like your referral network will respond so positively to this and will be like, "I want access to this. Please share this with me. This is great for my customer base as well." So just know this has lasting impact, not just for you, but for your sphere. Yeah, go ahead.
And I also wanted to just encourage folks, we've still got some time left. We've got a lot of content to share. We want your questions. Alex and I have been putting a few of the key quotes that we just want to make sure people really, you took this note. So Alex has been putting some of those quotes in there. I just added it. Nicole did tell you how to get a demo. So whether you're a Boomerang client already or you're not a Boomerang client and you want to get a demo to learn more about alerts and all the borrower intelligence, there is a link in chat. But really want to encourage you guys to ask questions in chat. And if there are some takeaways, let us know what you thought was the big takeaway.
Yeah, I love that.
All right, so thank you. Thanks for the introduction earlier, Alex. So again, my name is Mike DiClemente. I am the president and CEO of Watson Mortgage. We're a real estate affiliate down in Jacksonville, Florida. And so I just wanted to kick off to start on this with, you may wonder how I can have these quotes or what's going on here. So I was invited, very happy to have been invited as an early release test, I guess, pilot, whatever you want to call it. So my company's been using these for a few weeks at this point, and so this is relevant. This is firsthand. We are using it. We're seeing it. I absolutely am seeing the long-term potential is adding this to the intelligence platform, right? Alex mentioned earlier, it's the evolution of where things are going. I was going to say, this is, in my opinion, this is an innovation or an innovative partner move from Sales Boomerang. This is a reason why I want to be with Sales Boomerang. This is adding on, this is bolting on, this is adding value to what we're doing. And it's really that holistic borrower view. So again, a few weeks in, we've already generated a loan application. I absolutely see the long-term potential. I'm excited to have this as part of my team. And I'm definitely seeing this, as I mentioned, the other one, holistic borrower intelligence platform. That's really what we're looking for here. This is the bolt on. This is what I really like about it. And I think we're going to go into some more details here. We're going to kick it over to Mike here in just a second of how it works. But one of my favorite parts about it is it gives you you're going to talk about best advice for the customer or the borrower, your friends. It gives you that entire history of the alerts, right? So you can see they got married a year ago, they had a kid, right? Then listing, whatever. Then layers in with all of the alerts. So I think it's fantastic. I'm very excited to be participating, and thank you. I'll kick it over here to Mike to go into how it works a little more.
Real quick before Mike goes, Michael, I've got a question for you, and if you can put it back on that slide, Mike. So you're a COO, president, leading and responsible for the success of your loan officers. And there's a lot you can't control in today's market. You can't control interest rates. You can't necessarily control how many calls they make, but how does it make you feel to be able to create these types of alerts and this type of opportunity for your loan officers?
Actually, it's fantastic. In fact, and I haven't even shared this with the team yet. I think this came out of one of our earlier meetings. So first of all, we are retail, right? So this to me is a great add-on to a retail type environment. Right? You've got the relationships. We're a real estate affiliate, so a lot of we're mostly realtor referrals. It's so much so that I've hired somebody full-time to call on. This is maybe out of the scope of this particular alert, but we've hired somebody like almost a call center in a way, a little bit away from our roots, and we have somebody focusing on the Sales Boomerang leads specifically to get those cash out opportunities, the listing alerts. We're seeing more success on that as well. So definitely it's relationship. So that's not so much, I don't have him calling these ones so much because this is really you have to call out of the blue and have no prior relationship is a little harder on these, but it's coming down to the relationship. So retail, definitely, this is where we're seeing the successes.
Yeah, and for all leaders on this call, there's a lot you can't control, but getting alerts, these are leads, and they're from your company's database. So this is one thing you can control in this market to create opportunities for your loan officers and your sales force.
I'll add one more thing on that too. It's the other part you mentioned. Other people mentioned this earlier in the call. When I've talked about this with especially the management and the senior leadership of our real estate affiliate, and I guess I had never shared it with them before. The most recent conversation was about 2 weeks ago. They were absolutely thrilled that we're using tools like this, right? Especially the credit alert, credit improvement, so we can bring those leads back on the legacy type alerts. But our partners are just they're going bananas for something like this. It's by and large, mortgage industry has been kind of underserved in the technology space, right? We're seeing more and more things come into place. This is just one of those innovative things that I feel like you have to be on board with, and I'm excited to be on board.
And just put an exclamation mark, just a reminder, guys, this is a major superpower when it comes to recruiting agents or it comes to strategic relationships with offices. This is not something every lender has. So it was great point. Thank you, Michael.
Yeah, thanks, guys. So moving into how it works. So we look at any event that has happened in the last 12 months. So taking your database of records that you're managing, we take that into our system and start to track it. So for those that are new to Sales Boomerang, as I said earlier in the call, we're tracking against a lot of different criteria to make sure that we're delivering back information, insights into your borrower so that you understand the amount of equity they have, whether a rate could help them, and now layering on, what life events occur. So it is the events that have happened over the past 12 months, but we will trigger them in such a way that if multiple events have happened, that is delivered in one alert. And then our data is refreshed bi-weekly. So moving forward from that, you'll get another alert if any of the life events that I listed off have been triggered. So you'll get multiple life events over time if things are changing for your borrower. If they're staying status quo, you won't. But as Michael just talked about, and I talked about a little bit earlier, we layer this into the overall alerts that we're sending you. I think, when we're talking about a superpower from life events, when we're talking about the whole alert platform and being able to see that, hey, this person has applied for a mortgage, and Sales Boomerang gave you an equity alert, 6 months ago, and they just had a baby 3 months ago. Being able to layer in additional data allows you to craft the right message as you talk to them, which I think is the most powerful thing about this. So turning on life events today pays dividends as you're moving forward, because we're layering that information in with other pieces of information that allows you to be that financial friend, that trusted advisor, that expert to your borrower, which is really then where we're driving towards and starting to create, insights as that we're putting into the Mortgage Coach TCA, which Dave will talk about a little bit later as well. So how this works is we're partnering with, hundreds of public record data points that we're pulling together and then layering in and triggering to let you know when these things happen. So when it's updated in public record, we add it to the alerts, trigger you on it, and then from that point forward, start to layer it into your other alerts. Now, because we go back 12 months, that's how we trigger. We don't trigger past that 12-month point. But once you trigger in our system, that is there moving forward as part of your history. So let's say 2 years from now, somebody lists their home, but you can see that 2 years ago they had a baby. It's a nice point of reference for you to be able to say, hey, how's your toddler doing today? So it is paying dividends for the future, as I stated. As Dave said, any questions, throw them in the chat. We'll be able to answer for you guys. So how you are notified. So over here on the right, you'll see a list of life event alert. You can see that it triggered for this one that this borrower was newly married. And you can see that there's a ton of life event alerts, 24 in the dashboard here within Sales Boomerang. But that's not the only way that you get them. We send out an email on a daily basis to loan officers to let them know which alerts have triggered in the system. So you'll get that email. You can come into the dashboard, get all of these details here. And then we also send our alerts into all of the major CRMs within the mortgage industry. We have Salesforce completely live right now, and we're working with the integrations with the other ones. If you have a CRM that you're interested in, let us know, and we'll make sure that becomes one of the ones that we prioritize. But we have 4 that are further in process, and then some more on top of that are in the queue. So let us know what is important to you.
Yeah, and something important. I know you're going to hear a lot of ideas right now from Michael here, in just a moment. It's important to realize that these notifications are for you for today, but it's also for tomorrow and the month and the year after that. Meaning, as the market starts to change and you have all of this insight, how are you going to prioritize who's going to be the first one to pull the trigger on something? This is how you're going to prioritize. You're going to know, you're going to see, you're going to be able to bring conversations and value, and you're going to be able to target and be very purposeful with the way you communicate with your customers. So just know, this is literally just giving you, and I love the way that Dave says this, superpower. This is giving you that a superpower into prioritizing conversations for the future as well, right? And your referral network, like how many people you're going to be able to refer out with this, which guess what? The reciprocation of that is tremendous. So just remember that.
All right, I'll hand it back to Michael with that.
Yeah, next I'll just address, there was a question in the chat for everybody's benefit. So Jungo is definitely very popular. In fact, that's what I'm on. I think when I'm talking with partners such as Sales Boomerang, we call it Salesforce. So yes, Salesforce, Jungo, one and the same essentially, and that's what I'm personally using right now with these alerts. So that's the Salesforce integration fully works with Jungo. So moving into the next one here, Alex, we're going to kick this one off.
You know, I am, but I would love for you to talk about this, right? So
yeah.
Oh, there's somebody jumping in. I apologize. I thought I heard something.
Oh, I had a few thoughts to share on it before you go, Michael. But why don't you go, Michael? And I have a few thoughts to share as we get into best practices and scripting.
Yeah. So.
Yep. Go ahead.
Thank you. So one of the things that I think it's very important that going back to this being a partnership, and we're getting, there's an evolution of this, and it's not just here it is and we go, right? So this was very valid feedback that we received from our customer success manager, right? Of do the homework, right? These are people in their sphere of influence. So one of the things that this was the main point of this is do a little bit of due diligence. Like, so for example, a marriage alert, right? Let's make sure it happened, right? If you're friends with them on Facebook, LinkedIn, a lot of times you can see things like that. I had some really great examples of where, it's people in the sphere of influence. I'm going to talk about those later, where it's, the realtor's son-in-law, it's the administrative assistant of the office's referral or neighbor, right? There are some things. The point of this is they are highly accurate, but do a little homework, do a little due diligence, and see if you can find something to validate it. And then the dates too, right? Because it's a general alert. I think I actually wasn't even aware of that exact time frame. I think, Mike, you mentioned it in the last 12 months. So you don't really know, a perfect example, I had one yesterday. Looked at it it was an example that was brought to me. We were looking at it, and we were able to, unfortunately, it was a death alert. We were able to find the obituary, right? So those are, a Google search did it, name, city, and you can find it there. So that's the main point. Just do a little research. So one of the things I was going to mention on here too is that this does add into that history, right? So you can see where as the life alerts go through, and hopefully you can see a natural progression. That's what we're expecting to see, and it would help to shape that future outreach. We've already talked about that a little bit, right? You see they get married, you have a kid, buy a new house, right? Listing alert, right? Whatever you're going to see, there's that progression. You're going to see that financial journey for the borrower, and then being able to reference back to that and being that financial friend. That's really the main point of this, right? You want to be able to track those things and it's a relationship game. That's really what it's coming down to. And actually, I'm going to do probably a really bad job of paraphrasing this, but Alex, you've said this many times, and you'll say it much better than me. But what I really think about this is, what is the platform? What are we doing with this? It's stop the spamming, stop selling, reach out when we have good news to share. You've said that hundreds of times. I've heard you say that many, many times, right? So that's the main point of this is we're getting these life alerts, we're reaching out, and the other part, it's the right loan at the right time, right? There's all these different ways we're looking at it, and that's the goal. It's not to be calling them every 6 months and saying, what can I do to help you? It's having relevant information of a natural progression. If the household formation is a natural starter to buying a house, right? Getting married, buy a house. It's just those are I don't know. I've seen statistics. I think it was like something like 30%. But you're going to see those things happen, and this is that natural progression into the borrower intelligence. So, and I mentioned this earlier. The other thing I was going to add on this too is this really is best served by that original loan officer, right? So I think I mentioned earlier that I did hire somebody that I've got calling on some of these too, but these ones are really best served by the person that had that relationship, and I think that's an important distinction, that it's that relationship, and it's building on the relationship and that financial friend, right? I think Alex, you've worn that shirt before, right? But that's that's the main point.
Well, let me layer onto that, Michael. Let me layer onto that for a second. I believe truly, okay, people that are sitting on this call, this is a true test of what your team believes in. If you offer this up and you hear anyone on your team say, I don't want those, you have to question why they're in this industry, okay? Because this is a true test of saying, I'm here as an advisor, not as a salesperson. If your team is not interested in this information, you have to question their priorities. This is how, and I love Mike, I'm going to use this all the time now. This is how you become generational with your customers, right? This is how you become generational. And so when you have access to this, and again, Dave's this superpower, and someone on your team says, I'm not interested in that, ask them why they're in this business. Why are you here? Because this is the reason why you're here. You're here to understand how you can help someone, not what you can sell to them, right? And so I just love everything you said there, and I love that we talked about how, hey, do a little extra research, like confirm you got the obituary. That's beautiful. Like, what a heartfelt experience to be able to reach out to somebody and be there to support them in this. And that is how you become irreplaceable, period. Doesn't matter what Quicken puts up as their rates. You're irreplaceable. You were there for them, and you will be there for them. So I just love all this. Dave, I know you're eager to share some things as well.
Yeah, so I want to add a few thoughts. And Mike, if you can stop sharing the screen real quick, I want to just make sure we really say something in fireside chat mode that you guys connect with, because this is so important when it comes to the best practices to converting these into having your loan officers have success with it. And I have interviewed lots of the nation's best loan officers, and there's a common trend. First of all, they're honest and transparent. So they're not concerned that hey, I got some data and I'm going to be calling someone and I need to hide it, or I need to be like, I'm being a creeper. No, they're like, I'm a valuable person, I'm a valuable advisor, and I'm calling and I'm just leaning into it, with complete honesty and transparency. Hey, congratulations. I heard you just had a newborn. These life events, the only one where you really need to kind of hesitate, like, how do I do this? It is a death. First of all, it may not be appropriate to call. Maybe good that you have that data and you've updated your CRM. And there's no doubt, I think it's a requirement when you get that death alert that you looked on social media. Is this something that they're talking about on social media? But aside from that alert, there's not a single alert where I'm pumped, I'm excited, I'm transparent, and I'm confident, and I'm calling. And I'm leaning in with, this is the other thing I'm gonna say, friendship. Like, we got to get our loan officers to think, especially when it comes to these life alerts, that you're not calling as a salesperson, as a loan officer to do a transaction. You're calling to be that financial friend for life, and you've got that attitude within. So while in that slide, the first thing was, do your research. First thing is get your loan officer's head straight. Like be comfortable, be confident, be candid. And if they do say, hey, how did you know this? Comfortable and confident. Oh, we subscribe to the best technology. We've got business intelligence. We have big data, so that we can support you in being proactive with your financial needs. My job is to know when you need a new loan. So I subscribe to the best business intelligence out there so that I can make calls like this and be there for you proactively. So I just can't emphasize how important it is that there's a mindset, the financial friend mindset, that we need to get all the loan officers around. There's the scripting. That's why I put a link to a script in chat. This was a script playbook that I wrote several months ago. I will be updating this script playbook because we didn't have life alerts. We didn't have these financial friend for life insights when I wrote that. And so we'll be updating that. So I want to put that there. And then the next slide, I'm going to share my deck rather than this one, just because I'll give it back to you in a minute, Mike. But I want to share like total cost analysis, because it's so important that when you are being that financial friend for life, that you're providing more than that fee worksheet on the side there. Like, hey, here's your rate, here's your payment, here's your cash to close. That's a transaction. And in today's market, people need options. Like, this is a really good example of a loan officer who's doing a pre-approval for a family, and he's showing rate options varying from no cost on up to paying 2 points. You know why they're showing 2 points? Because online lenders, big banks, and low-cost credit unions are showing 2 points. So, and notice that this loan officer is also future casting. What would a financial friend do? They'd say, hey, here's some options. Here's, you think rates are going to go down? Here's some options. They're showing options and strategies. And here's another one. Guys, in today's market, listing agents are having to lower a lot of prices. Redfin just came out and 36% of listings had a price reduction. That's a new conversation that agents don't want to have. So when you are a financial friend and you have big data, customer insights, you got digital presentations, you could just execute that whole model better. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen. I don't know if you want to add anything to Alex, Mike, or Michael, but that's my thought on Mortgage Coach.
No, I thought that was brilliant. So perfectly timed for that. And
Yeah, and I think a great thing for these webinars is that, you know, that sharing, Dave, and also being able to tell people where we are going. This is where we are today. We're alerting on these, but where we're going is being able to layer these in and have it inform and automate those TCAs that Dave just shared, so that you're getting the best TCA that you can share directly with your borrower based on all of the insights that we're pulling together. Life events is just, you know, one more piece in the tip of the iceberg of where we're going, but then really being able to automate that entire journey. So I think it was a really, really awesome that you shared that, Dave. And I'll put the presentation back up. Just give me 1 second.
Keep the questions coming, guys. And notice that there is a link if you want to learn more about Mortgage Coach and the total cost analysis. We would love to show you the way. So click away and let us know if you've got questions. Yeah, I'm done with that slide. I think I covered that when I shared my screen, but just as a reminder, guys, you know, education is the key. Winning with education is the key, and Mortgage Coach helps you do that.
Yep.
All right, so I was going to share a few of our examples of what we've had success with in the Realtor Network so far. So as I mentioned, real estate affiliate. So I get a lot of really good feedback, and they'll tell us good and bad, especially from the senior leadership side. But you know, what we've got going on here is I wanted to share just 3 examples, right? So when we first started, right, when we first started with these new alerts, we got that first batch that came through, and there was some history. Some of them were aged, and some of the examples that I had were, you know, we've been involving the realtors in some of the outreach, right? So we had one of our loan officers, 3 really great examples where the realtor had another job, worked with the sister of the person that we got the alert on, was able to validate it, and they actually wanted to do the outreach. Another alert that we got was from the son-in-law of the office administrator, and another one was just a close friend of the realtor. So the point of all of where I'm going back of this sphere of influence, right? That's where we can do the validation. That's where we can reach back out, the life events where we can have it's getting the insights. Sometimes we have examples. This was a really great statistic I heard the other day is you know, I heard a statistic that said that 1/3 of our referrals don't come back because they just simply forgot. They forgot, or they went online and they found somebody else. And this is just another way for us to stay in front of those people, right? So it may not convert immediately, right? We call them leads, they are leads, right? But it's more of that long-term relationship, the financial friend, seeing what we can do next. You know, so I'm excited. We've received 1 application, and that may not sound like a lot, but I'm still very excited by it because I see that long-term potential, right? So my quote earlier said we received 1 application, right? But that's true. But I do see that long-term event, and our realtor partners were so far have been very excited. We're in discussions with Alex. You had mentioned getting their databases into ours to get these life events, to get the listing and the mortgage inquiries. And one of the big ones, in fact, I'll share this story. I didn't plan on bringing this one up, but I met with a very large relocation agency last week, and we're already doing business together. And they refer business to our real estate partner and so forth. We get a shot at some of the mortgages. And talking about the borrower intelligence platform, I brought up the credit watch alert, and they were just blown away, right? They thought that was amazing. They were so happy to hear that we had a tool like this, and it was making them even more excited to continue to refer us business. So I think that the realtors are really seeing the value of having this. We just haven't had anything in the past, right? It's newer to the industry, and I think this is a very innovative partner, and that's why we're doing it. So
I love that story.
Go ahead. Go ahead, Alex.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I love that story because, Michael, and you guys do this so well, and this is why you guys are having, you know, showing successes and signs of getting back into the swing of things earlier than a lot of other groups. is because you have always, since we met, been looking into investing into the future of your organization, but not forgetting today. Like that is such an important part of what you do, and what you just mentioned is so key. And everyone listening needs to sort of wrap their mind around this. Your partners need you to invest into these things. They need to know that. And guess what? You want to know that your partners are doing these things too. Maybe not with the technology you see on this call, but in general, what are they doing, right? And how are they also investing in themselves? But for your partners, you just said it, Michael, for them to say thank you. Think about this. They're saying thank you, Michael. Thank you, Watson.
Yeah.
Thank you for doing this for our community, for our clients. This means a lot to us. It means we can confidently refer more business to you, and know that you're going to take good care of us and our clients. I just love that. Go ahead, Dave.
And I'll add, can I have one more thing on that too? Because this is
Yeah.
when I asked for the spend, for example, right? Well, probably about a year ago now, and when I had the discussion with the board of bringing on Sales Boomerang, right? And I'll never forget I live in Florida, but I grew up in the New England area, and I'm a big hockey fan. And you don't get a lot of hockey references in Florida, but the president at the time said, "Yeah, skate where the puck's going to be, not where it's been. Do it." It was one of the easiest things that I've ever had to sell to ask to spend the money for was this platform, right? That was his response, basically. Yeah, if you don't do it, you're going to fall behind, right? Because this is where the industry is going, right? So that's
so Michael, that ends up being a perfect segue into what I just did. I just went off camera for a minute.
Yeah.
I just wanted to see, you said, we've had one loan come through because of this. And I was like, all right, I want to see how many alerts that you gotten over the last 30 days. You got 191 alerts over the last 30 days. So let's just break that down at $2 an alert. Let's just call that $400. A $400 investment for a loan, that anybody in the industry would be paying that. So, I think to your point, that you see the long-term value of this. Those 191 alerts start to pay over time for our other alerts, but also opportunities that you can reach out to again and again to those borrowers. But even right now, you've seen success from this one thing. And yes, only one conversion, but that conversion at a cost standpoint, totally worth it. And I know that, you being a partner to us, exactly. That's what I was saying, Alex. Who wouldn't want that?
And here's the other part you're missing. Let's just be frank. I guarantee you we didn't call 100% of them.
Okay.
Right. Let's start there. So let's say if we called half, right? So part of my job is, that's why, we're looking at some alternatives. I want to make sure that people are getting called, and that's why I've hired an additional person. But yeah, it's absolutely, I see the long-term value.
Great.
Hey, stop sharing again real quick, because this is just too important. Because first of all, let's qualify that 191 and that $400 alone. And guys, it just got started. So we're taking a snapshot in a window of time that's not even properly pulling out the ROI of this.
Right.
But let's talk about the most important time in a market like this, when loans are down, home sales are down, realtors are stressed, they've got problems. They need leads, they need loan officers that can do more than close a transaction. And so I just can't emphasize enough, if you're a manager on this call, you should know how many alerts you're sitting on in your database. So one of the things that we do when we go through the demo is we'll actually show you, based on your database, this is the estimated number of alerts you'd get. So just going through our sales process is a value, so that you as a leader can understand it. And guys, this is just one alert category. This is a new alert category that we're talking about, we're announcing, we're bringing to market. But I think about how stoked your loan officers will be. And even the loan officers that don't call them, there's still a value, because you're helping them. Hey, I've got leads, so you've got leverage. Guys, you'd be able to say to every loan officer how many alerts they're getting. So make sure you go through the process, and then make sure you ROI this out. And I do believe in this market, this has never been more valuable.
Yeah, I completely agree, Dave.
Fantastic.
All right, so this is Dave and Alex.
Yeah.
Want to go over this one?
I can jump on this real quick, and I know we're getting close to the end here, so I'll go really quickly through this. Look, if you're on this call and your referral partners are important to you, this is what you can expect. When you start to share insights from your database about their mutual clients, and if they're sharing their database with you, you can start sharing insights on their customer base with them. This is what you will see: more than doubling of their volume, and obviously more loans for you. But let's focus on giving, right? Let's be a giving community, and this is you giving back to your referral partners and giving them a chance to close more, to sell more homes, and to help more people get into homes at the right time. So it will literally, let me say this differently, minimally double your realtors, your agents' volume in the first 12 months. As you start to share insights back and forth, like life events and all the other things that Michael had mentioned, credit improvement, listings, cash outs, all the different things that exist inside both of your customer bases, which is your agent and you will literally double their volume. And if that's not valuable, then again, you want to ask yourself, what am I doing here, right? So make sure you understand that this is and will make an impact instantly for your referral base.
And multiply that by new realtor relationships.
Yes.
And then also multiply that with, remember what I said earlier, the loan officer with the most friends wins, and the loan officer who has the most high quality, emotional connecting conversations wins. Put realtor on the side of that. The loan officer that has the most emotionally connecting, incrementally valuable, like, hey, I'm going to show you how to get more business, they win.
Yes. Yeah. And this is just an example of this, right? So this is a great month in the life. You guys may have seen us talk about a month in the life with thousands and thousands of records from a lender. But what would it look like for an agent? So this is a real example of an agent that has 898 records in their database. Now, remember, most agents will have less records than the lenders do. So this is an individual producer who's got, over the years, collected this much information. If an agent is willing to really partner with you and say, hey, I want to get the most out of every conversation I have, this is what it could look like. In just a month, 27 different opportunities will arise, right? Some of them purchase, some of them not, but there will be 27 related events in their customer base. We're assuming 30 to 40%. It could be even higher in this environment than 40%, but let's just assume 40%, right? You're talking about nearly 12 purchases in 1 month, 12 purchase conversations in 1 month from their existing customer base, from their existing database. There's nearly nowhere else they can go to get this type of activity, or for it to barely cost them anything, right? So just keep your agents in mind, because all the things that are not purchased are referrals for you for refi, right? So you're working them together no matter what. But look at the impact you can make on somebody's life. Let's unless there's some comments, let's keep it moving, because I know we're getting close to the end here. I want to make sure everyone gets it.
Yeah. So this is back on some of the scripting. So Dave mentioned a lot of this earlier.
Yep.
It's about leaning in and being truthful and just being honest about what we're doing here, right? And that's I'll skip a lot of this here from the sake of time, but Dave really addressed this earlier when he was going over the other slides. Truth is the best script. That's the main message here. And I was going to talk about a little bit of the scripts before we turn it back to Alex here, but generally, this is my main message on this one. What I was most excited about with the scripting is that we received these tools. We've all purchased things, and we've all bought technology from other things related, not related, and ready, set, launch, and nobody knows what to do. They gave, just like the other sales boomerang alerts, we went out of the gate with scripting. This is how you do it. These are the best practices. And then they came back a couple weeks later and said, hey, we have a revision, like the death alert. That was where the one these came back and say, we should start validating, right? We were learning as we go, but they've been a partner, and they're updating and keeping them fresh and relevant and giving us the best practices. So that's my main message. The next two slides are just about, or some example scripts. We could probably skip those for the time, but unless you want to go briefly, but Yeah, that's, to me, the great part is that you provide them, right? You're not off on your own trying to figure this out. These are proven, there's feedback. It's people from the pilot. We've provided feedback. This is what's working, this is what's not. And that information is making it out to everybody else.
Yeah,
So-
I think we can. I mean, I think we can run this poll, but ultimately, I think I do what Dave typically does, which is go fireside chat. We've gotten to the end. Let's talk a little bit of scripting, a little bit of nuance here as we let people go.
So
You know,
remember, guys,
so-
part of being on our team, you're going to get scripting. Part of just following us in YouTube, following our blog, I put a link to that, engaging with the community that we're building, you're going to get value, you're going to get the scripts. Someone had asked about enterprise. Yeah, absolutely. We do have a relationship with Fairway. But anybody that just wants to go a little deeper and learn a little more, make sure that you fill out those forms and you get a demo, and we'll be happy to not just show you what we do and how we do it, but you're going to find out how many alerts you're sitting on in your database. And if you're an existing customer of Boomerang, let's make sure you do an audit in this market, in this purchase market. For example, cash out refis. They're pure gold, because not only are they cash out refi opportunities, they're move up opportunities. There's people that have the right credit, they have enough equity, and they could be listing leads. Agents need listing leads. So make sure that you're talking to your success manager. If you don't have a success manager because you're not an enterprise client, click on the button and we'd love to show you how many alerts you could be getting and how we can help you.
Well said. Well said. Look, we got into a really great conversation here, and we didn't get into the scripting and some of the nuances and best practices there. But highly encourage you and thank you everyone for the participation and activity. The questions started coming in and you all started getting involved. So we appreciate that. But if you want to learn more about the scripting and how to go to market with this, how to present this to your agent, how to show that you're investing in the borrower and in your referral partnerships, get in touch with us. Let's talk. And let us guide you guys. I mean, this is the perfect time for people to start practicing good practices. As the industry is a little bit cooler, this is the time to put in the best practices as the industry starts to change. So take advantage of it. Everyone, thank you so much, Michael and Mike. I don't know if you guys want to leave us with a couple of final thoughts.
No, I appreciate all the chat that happened. Michael, thank you for being here. It was awesome to hear your point of view, and really excited to get any feedback from anybody that starts using the life event alerts, so that we can do what we've done here for Watson as well, which is make sure that we're identifying the needs that you have and delivering on those needs. You're on mute, Dave.
Sorry. So I did want to give a closing thought for every manager and anyone listening into this. Guys, we're in the mortgage business, and we provide the most valuable service to any family when it comes to their financial well-being and their financial freedom. And being able to proactively help that family manage their finances, it's pretty stunning. When you look at 99% of Americans, not the top 1%, the wealthiest 1% of America, but you take 99% of Americans, over 85% of their net worth is their personal residence, is real estate. And that 99% of America, they use over 93% of all debt in America. So we can be the most powerful financial advisors, but you got to have customer insight. You need to be able to give advice. And we're here to serve. So hope you got valuable from this presentation, and we hope to help you leave no borrower behind.